Okay, so honestly, I think one thing that people really understand nowadays is that people are into very weird things. Like, you guys gotta understand, people have kinks, people have, you know, things that they're into, and I'm not gonna lie, I have some things that I'm into. But I guess some people just have things that are way beyond my limits, and I'm gonna be honest here, it gets out of hand. But before I get into that, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you guys haven't already, and make sure you guys do also click the links down below, join the Discord, join the Twitch streams, because seriously, all the stories are on there when I'm live. But other than that, let's get straight into this. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So this one's from back when I was in grade 11, and I'm not gonna lie, in grade 11, like I said, usually, like, I was a basic guy. But let's just say in our high school, I remember we had like this LGBTQ community that you mostly hung around the theater, and honestly, like, I never had a problem with them. I should probably say that first, but I'm not gonna lie, they were frowned upon by a lot of the sports teams, and as well as like many other cliques, I guess, in high school. I don't know if you guys are in high school yet, you guys would understand what I mean. And I remember when I was back in high school, there was this really hot girl in one of my classes. I think she was like an outstanding girl, and I'm gonna be honest, she was really attractive. Like, she was a brunette, she had brown eyes, and well, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, she had some massive cherries, and I wasn't complaining. But one thing I always questioned about her was why she had this choker on. And before you guys say anything like, oh, it's just a choker, like, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna be honest, like, this was more than a choker. Like, in my opinion, it literally looked like a collar. Like, it was massive, and it wasn't one of those ones that usually like the goth people wear, or emo. I don't know which is which, to be honest. They're both the same to me, in my opinion. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm not joking when I say this. Like, she had like a giant collar on, and I always questioned it. I never understood it, but she was still an attractive girl, and I actually kind of did want to go talk to her. So I remember I stood up from my desk, and I counted down from the count of 3, and I ended up walking up to her saying, hey, like, yo, like, how's it going? I know, not the best first impression, but I'm gonna be honest, I had nothing better up my sleeve. And she ended up looking at me with her big brown eyes saying, oh, like, hey, like, how are you doing? Obviously, I was kind of shook, but at the same time, I kind of just ended up asking for a Snapchat, and I literally did tell her, like, oh, like, I kind of think you're cute. And I guess she felt really happy from that. Like, I'm not joking when I say this. Usually, like, girls don't get as excited when guys give them compliments nowadays, because I guess every girl's just used to compliments. But she actually, like, took this one to heart for some reason, and honestly, I will never understand why to this day. But going on, I remember later that day, I was kind of just, you know, walking around, doing my own thing, and actually going to my other classes, and my phone kept getting notifications. I honestly didn't know what it was, so I remember when I looked at my phone, it was literally just the same girl that I literally talked to, like, not even like maybe an hour ago, snapping me back to back to back. She kept asking me stuff, and she kept, you know, saying, you know, things that I was into and stuff, and she was getting really personal real quick. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't know if it's just because she has like attachment issues, but she got attached really quick from me just asking her Snapchat, and I guess calling her cute. I should probably say that as well. But going on, I remember as like we were snapping back and forth, I guess, throughout the school day, she ended up asking me, hey, like, do you want to like maybe like hang out today, like, if you're not doing anything? And obviously, when a hot girl says that, you don't really like say no, unless you're like super based and you're just absolutely just want to have the V card forever, then go for it. But obviously for me, I ended up saying yes, and I remember I ended up actually hanging out with her. I remember I met up with her after school. We ended up going to the mall, and I'm not gonna lie, when we got to the mall, she got really personal. Now you guys are probably asking, like, how personal can a person get out of the mall? And to be honest, I had the same question, but then she ended up talking about how she felt out of place by walking on 2 legs. Like, what? She felt out of place from literally walking normally, at least normally to me. I don't know, it was so weird. To be honest, I didn't understand. I remember asking more questions about it. I was kind of curious on what she meant, and I guess she kept telling me the same thing. She kept telling me, just wait. It didn't make sense to me at all. But then I remember later throughout the day, she ended up, you know, walking with me, going out and eating. We did the whole hangout thing, I guess. But then she told me, hey, like, my parents aren't home, like, do you want to like maybe like come over? Now at that point, obviously, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, like, okay, bet. Like, I'm literally gonna go to her house, go do the devil's tango, and just, you know, do the thing and leave. Like, simple as that. But let's just say it ended up being way more than that, and I guess I was just dumb enough to not understand it. Like, that's the thing about me. I don't know what it is, but every time I go up and I, you know, talk to a girl, or I talk to like basically any female, I'm not gonna lie, I tend to zone out a bit, and that's not even like funny, and I know it sounds kind of rude and I guess sexist in a way, but I don't know what it is with me, but I just kind of end up zoning out, and when I look at them, I'm like, oh, she's hot. Wait, what'd she say? Like, it was one of those kind of things. I don't know. I had ended up happening that day, and I guess, you know, it kind of follows along with me to this day. But going on, I remember we ended up going to her place, and me and her were getting kind of close. We first were watching a movie, or actually it was a documentary, but we just sat there watching a movie, eating popcorn, and I realized that this girl was getting closer and closer to me. And as she was getting closer and closer, she put her hand on my thigh, and that's when I was like, okay, this is my cue, because that's usually a cue for most women, I guess. And I remember I went in, we made out for a bit on the couch, and I'm not gonna lie, things were getting really, I guess, actually personal, I should say now. But then let's just say the weirdest of the weird ended up happening. So me and her were making out, and I remember we ended up up kind of, you know, standing up and going to her bedroom because obviously my thought process was, oh, we're gonna go do the devil's tango. But apparently she stood up and she looked at me and she went on all fours and said, take me to the room, daddy. Like, what? She went on all fours, like as if she was a dog. I was so confused. Like, it did not make sense to me. And then right after that, I remember she ended up literally walking up to this leash, putting it on her, going back on all fours and handing me the leash with her mouth as if she was literally a dog wanting to go for a walk. I was not even joking, kind of terrified. And my eyes were wide open, just weirded out. And I remember that wasn't even the weird part. She ended up dragging me, I guess, to her bedroom. And when we got to her room, I realized that her room was like really, really pink. Like pink to like the like e-girl gaming setup, pink, like really pink. Like I can't describe how pink this was. And I remember she ended up, you know, going on top of me. She licked me a bit, which was weird. But at the same time, we made out. And in my mind, I was like, oh, she's just, you know, into doggy style. Yeah, as much as I wish that was the case, let's just say it gets worse. Going on, I remember I was taking off my clothes, getting ready, and then she ended up pushing me off and saying, I'm not ready yet. In my mind, I'm like, oh, like, does she not want to do the devil's tango? Because like I was really down to just leave and go home. Like if that was the case, I'll do it, you know, like I'm down to go, like it's not an issue. But then she told me, wait, give me like 10 minutes. She goes to the other room and let's just say I didn't see her. I was just laying there on her bed, literally naked, confused on what's going on. Then I want to say I kept hearing like this rumbling noise as if she was like moving like big boxes. And I was really confused. I thought she was gonna pull out some kind of weapon or a toy that, let's just say, I'm not ready for. Because I'm not gonna lie, doing the devil's tango with toys is not really it for me, and that's from a different story. But going on, she ended up walking into the room. When she ended up putting her first foot into the room, I'm not gonna lie, I ended up seeing this pink fuzzy furry outfit literally walk in right after that, and I was terrified. This thing had like big rainbow eyes, and it was just like a pink suit with like spots on it. Like I was literally terrified, and I was super confused. But then she went on all fours and started crawling up as if she was a literal dog in a dog suit, furry suit. I don't know, to be honest. I was so confused to the point where I remember I literally stood up, put on my pants, and I was like, what are you doing? Then she looked at me and took off her big, you know, furry helmet, I guess, and literally said, oh, like I thought we were like doing what I wanted. And I looked at her and I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, like I'm not into, like, that's not that I was literally stuttering. I was literally stuttering just like that because I didn't know what to say to that. I was really just weirded out. Then I remember as I put my shirt on, she ended up being really pissed off at me, like really pissed off, to the point where she literally like kind of took off her suit right in front of me, and she was really, really mad. She ended up sitting on the bed with her arms on their side going like, what's wrong with you? Like I thought you would like it and understood that like I was into that kind of stuff. Like why are you so like a tease? And I look at her and I go, how was I supposed to know you were gonna wear a fursuit? She ended up looking at me and saying, did you not look at my collar? And I look at her and I'm like, you mean your choker? She looks at me again and says, no, my actual collar. Like, are you just that dumb? And I realized that the collar she wore, that big thing around her neck this entire time, was a literal collar. Like it wasn't some kind of cool choker or goth choker or anything like that. It was a literal collar. At that point, I had no idea what to do. And I remember I literally stood up and I told her, listen, like, I'm just not into that kind of stuff. Like, you gotta understand, like, I'm very different, I guess. You know, we're wired differently. And she looked at me and she's like, oh, so you're calling me weird now? You know what? I think you should just leave. At that point, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I got my stuff and I left. Like, I wasn't thinking twice when she said you can just go. And I remember as I left and I got in my car, her parents literally walked through the door and literally saw me. And let's just say, like, they were pretty, like, in shock that a guy actually, I guess, came to her house. I don't know. Long story short, though, honestly, I understand how people accept things for other people. And honestly, that's a good thing. And the main thing is that accepting others is the big thing. But at the same time, though, make sure both parties are good with it, because that's just the way life is. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for the story today. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. And also, thank you guys so much for all the love and support on these videos. It seriously helps a lot. And like I always say, fall for more embarrassing stories. All right, peace out, guys.